Hello and welcome back to War Gaming with me, Gary. And this is my pointy stick video. The reason I'm calling it my pointy stick video is because what I've done is I've taken all of the figures from my main collection, my main project that I'm working on, which I showed you way back. I think it was video number 128. I think I'll check that, where I showed you I filled my table up with the figures that I was going to start my new project with, and these are all of the figures which didn't have weapons or moulded weapons when they were cast. So these are all weapons that have had to be added, like since getting them to my place, since purchasing them. So. And I just thought I'd go through it. So, and the reason I call them the pointy stick video is because there's a lot of pointy sticks. There are them all, loads of them all over the place. So let me just go through these in detail. So what I've got here first, and I'll just move that over so I can concentrate on them just a little bit. Whoops. These are Vikings. These are all Black Tree figures, Black Tree designs. And most of them you'll see, I've put axes on most of them, because what the pack, when you're sent the pack of the Vikings, you get a selection of swords and axes. Now there weren't enough axes to give them all an axe, and I know the Vikings, I'm starting to read little bits of history on everything, and I know that the Vikings did like to use axes, but they did use swords as well. So it's perfectly, I think it's historically correct for me to mix in some swords there. So that's that. Then I've got the English Civil War figures that I'm working on. Now these are all from Renegade. The English Civil War figures here, I should say here, are all from Renegade. Unfortunately, it looks like Renegade have now stopped producing figures. I went on their website again a little while ago, and it's still the same. It still says this website's closed. It's been like that for the best part of a year and a bit now, year and a half, and I'm now thinking that they're probably not going to come back, which is a real shame because they did some special figures, I thought, and as you can see from there. Now these are all pointy sticks, as you can see, well, a lot of pointy sticks. And very tall pointy sticks at that. I've got, I went on to their, right, so what I did was, in order to find uniforms, I went on to some of the English Civil War reenactment sites. Now, the figures that I'm going to be painting are from the Sir Thomas Blackwell's Regiment of Foot, who wore black. And as soon as I saw them, I thought, oh yeah, I want to paint them. I will be painting others, of course, because otherwise it just means I have one regiment. But yes, but what I was going to say is they are a fantastic source of information because, of course, they're a reenactment group. That they really look at the uniforms and the type of clothing that was worn in that period. So it's really easy to follow. So virtually all I've had to do is go on to, I just put in Sir Thomas Blackwell's Regiment of Foot reenactment, and this lot came up. I went on to the photos, and you have a photo of every type of uniform you could possibly imagine. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be copying them. I was tempted, if I just move this along, I was tempted to make these guys, give them shorter pointy sticks. Now, the reason I was going to do that was purely for packing, but I did think, well, if I'm going to be getting lots of these regiments, and I am going to be getting lots of these regiments, I want it to look as authentic as it can be, really. Especially if I were to start taking these to clubs, which I certainly intend to. Yeah, so what I've decided to do is to leave these, and I checked the height as well. So I did a comparison with these, the size length of the pointy sticks in comparison to the size of the man on the website, and it certainly did. They certainly do that. Excuse me. They certainly do that look very, very long. So yeah, so I've stuck with that. Let me just look at the next one. Okay, and the next group, let me just pull this out a minute, I just want to check, yeah. The next board I've got for figures I'm painting, oh, excuse me, got my foot caught, are these Spartans. I've not got many Spartans there, but I will be getting a lot more because I do intend to be refighting a campaign from the Peloponnesian Wars. So I will need lots of Spartans. But the rest of them, if I just move these along, they're all going to be Athenians. And as you can see, I've got quite a collection there, which I'm very pleased with. I should have said, right, so after the English Civil War figures, which were Renegade, these are, everything on this board is Black Tree designs. And I've got to say, their foot figures, I think, are absolutely brilliant. They've got nice detail on the face, the armour's really, really good, the helmets, and especially the crests on the helmet look very, very nice. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is, now that I've finished the pointy stick video, if you like, so they're all caught up now, so they can all be at some point primered. So that will be what I do next with the whole project. That everything will be primered. And as you can see, what it does is it actually moves me along nicely. It just, yeah, so I'm finishing bits and pieces. I'm getting bits and pieces moving forward all the time. But then what I also do, all of these will go back into the garage onto my metal mounting, or my lead mounting if you prefer. And then what I'll do is I'll bring out a selection from everything I'm painting to paint to completion. So that's generally what I'm going to do. Yeah, so my next video will be a look at those figures, the figures that I've picked out and said, yeah, this is what I want to paint now. And then I'll paint those to completion. The two things I will be concentrating on will be some orc boar riders and the 4-horse chariots that you saw in the previous video, unboxing 4-horse chariots. So yeah. So that's me done. How many minutes we've been going for now? Let's have a look. Oh, 8 minutes. Quite a long one for me. So yeah, so that's me done there. And I'll see you in the next video. All the best then. Take care. Bye.